And at this hour we go live to Venezuela. Let's see to the images, live images coming from the country. In an act that evokes the most dark episodes in a concentration camp, for example, the law of the enemy, in which it is based of an anachronic law that violates of the United States of America in matter of human rights, in the Convention and the protection of all workers, migrant workers in the country, and the Declaration of the Human Rights of individuals who are from abroad. And this is the attempt of an alternative life due to the economic reasons, a consequence of the blockade, the criminal blockade imposed on the country, and also aligned with Western powers against Venezuela. In its vast majority, the workers, dignified people, workers are not criminals, they are victims. Venezuela rejects the persecution against our connationals, patrimony, against the vehicles, bank accounts. Likewise,
están siendo sometidos a persecución en sus lugares de trabajo, colegios, iglesias, hospitales y espacios públicos. Con profunda indignación repudiamos la amenaza de secuestro de menores de 14 años. Nunca en la historia se había llegado al extremo de pretender calificar en un documento oficial y de manera sumaria niños como miembros de grupos terroristas
contained in a document. They are saying that our children are criminals. Maria Corina Machado, Julio Borges, Leopoldo Lopez, and many others are part of this criminal group that has been asking for unilateral sanctions against the country, against the Venezuelan people, and they are showing like one great achievement is these sanctions against the country. They are responsible for a criminal network that are asking for money and against our people. In this criminal action, from this extremism, these people who do not belong to this country are stigmatizing and aligned with our enemy against our connationals abroad. This new aggression is part of the unilateral sanctions against Venezuela, with the support of fascism, of the extreme right wing of the country. An extraordinary mission against Venezuela and its people. Before the gravity of this maneuver, national unity, to the spirit of solidarity of our people, and the development of all mechanisms in legal ways and political ways to support our migrants. There will be no space for in which Venezuela is going to ask for all multilateral mechanisms to support our connationals, and we are calling especially to the CELAC community to mobilize in support of the human rights of our migrants.
It's not only an attack against Venezuela, but so is the unity of and solidarity of our
Venezuela toda exige respeto a sus migrantes y sus familias. Caracas, 16 de marzo de 2025.
March 16, 2025.
El Estado venezolano fija posición. Y comienzan a fijar posición algunos sectores venezolanos. Los partidos políticos, comienzan a fijar posición, los movimientos
They
sociales
started
comienzan
to
a fijar
begin.
posición. Inclusive sectores opositores comienzan a fijar posición sobre la denuncia
Así es imposible.
del mundo al criminal de este decreto del imperialismo norteamericano. Importante recordar
It is important
este problema y quiénes han sido
to
los
highlight this.
protagonistas de los sectores fascistas en Venezuela.
The fascist sectors of Venezuela,
Quienes promovieron
who promoted
el tema de la migración.
the issue of migration.
Luego de promover el tema de la migración, vino
After-
la satanización de los venezolanos en el extranjero. Quienes comenzaron a hablar
Who started
del
to
tren
talk
de Aragua,
about
como que todos los venezolanos y las venezolanas fuesen parte del tren de Aragua.
that
Yo no
all
recuerdo
Venezuelans
que
are
aquí
part
en
of the
Venezuela,
Tren de Aragua
los
criminal
organismos de
group.
seguridad eliminaron
And so they eliminated
que aquí en Venezuela fueron reducidos gracias
Venezuela. They were
a Venezuela.
reduced thanks to the work of our armed forces. And so we have seen governments and countries that were involved in the presidential campaign of Donald Trump from his campaign about criminalizing migrants,
Bueno,
pointing them out as criminals. So
una situación donde
this is a situation in which after the decree they were expelled from the United States and taken to
a una cárcel
an
en El Salvador,
to a prison in El Salvador. A group of Venezuelans were
venezolanos de ser
accused
del tren de Aragua.
of belonging to the Tren de Aragua criminal group, and we denounced it on due time.
Cuando comenzaron a llegar los
When
primeros
they
migrantes que ellos
started
decían del
to
tren de Aragua, lo
arrive,
habían denunciado
when they claimed they were of the Tren de Aragua, and we have denounced it in several entities, and we have said that those people coming from the United States, they don't have nothing to do with the Tren de Aragua, and so
creo que nadie está mintiendo al presidente Trump, sino que es una política
and so I think that no one is lying to President Trump, but it is an official policy with the end of undermine, persecute,
a los venezolanos
intimidate Venezuelans worldwide. So it's no strange that the satellite government of the United States applied
la campaña contra los venezolanos
similar laws, and it has been a campaign against Venezuelans, and Venezuelans are good women and men dedicated to their families, workers. And so when they left Venezuela, they left for economic reasons, for finding their families a better future due to the economic criminal sanctions against our country. So they closed, these sanctions closed every routes, every incomes of Venezuelans, and so thousands of Venezuelans have returned thanks to the return plan of President Nicolás Maduro.
casi 1 millón de venezolanos
Almost 1 million of Venezuelans have returned, and those were brought
y dijeron no, a llevar el tren de Aragua,
and
mentira,
told that was the Tren de Aragua coming, but there was no one from the Tren de Aragua, and we received them as human beings, and this is
los medios de comunicación
unlike what we have seen on media outlets, on social media, about the treatment of Venezuelans in El Salvador. It is humiliating, criminalizing them, reducing them,
diga nada.
and there is no one in the world who says nothing. Where is the United Nations? Where's the international community? And so I am going to tell those presidents quiet. Now they will come after your people.
Aquellos
those who constantly point at Venezuela, they will come after your people, because it is not the Venezuelan population, the biggest percentage there in the United States. Count it up and search, because there are lots of other citizens that go to work there, and now they are accused of terrorism. So it continues the business. Migration is a business from the first time, and it continues to be the business after Maria Corina Machado, Leopoldo Lopez, Guaidó, Julio Borges, Paparoni, Vecchio, Pizarro, Ledesma become rich receiving money for those Venezuelans departing the country, and so they received money, and then the business continues, and we see a news there. The United States will pay $6 million to El Salvador to incarcerate 300 alleged members of the Tren de Aragua criminal group. The Bukele government and the U.S. administration agreed on sending Venezuelans to El Salvador prisons, and the United States hasn't announced how the United States identified these people as the Tren de Aragua criminals, and so it is a lie. It is very much alike to fascism acting in Europe. It is very similar against people stigmatized and persecuted. The Donald Trump administration will pay $6 million to incarcerate around 300 members of the Tren de Aragua criminal group in one of the first times that the Central American country accepted prisoners from the United States. And the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, in a notorious prison in El Salvador, the government of Bukele has arrested over 84,000 people, sometimes without the duly process, in an offensive against criminal groups in that small country. So there are more migrants in El Salvador than those Venezuelans, and there are more migrants in the United States from El Salvador than Venezuelans, and some Salvadorans live thanks to that money sent from the United States, and so these leaders are just drunk of hate, because Venezuela right now urges for unity, for maximum unity, and the brother Jorge Rodriguez announced a collection of signatures on Wednesday on all Bolivar's squares, and it is a summon for all Venezuelans, men and women, children, and so that for our sons and daughters to return to our homeland. And Madam Maria Corina Machado stated, of course, that the regime opened the prisons. They used the Tren de Aragua to destabilize. Diosdado received the Tren de Aragua as heroes, and she stated so. And who has pronounced right now? Who is pronouncing right now to condemn the attack against the people of Venezuela? They don't do it because they asked for that attack against Venezuela. And it is a lie that those that went to El Salvador belong to the Tren de Aragua. We have one there. Please put it right now. And I don't understand why he is there at the El Salvador without respecting his rights, because he entered the United States on December 26, and there he lost his appointment, and he was to the Immigration Center of the United States, and there in 2024 they saw them some tattoos, and they just was detained, and he was presented to the judge on April 17, and he was released on April 22 because he posed any danger for society, and he appeared to all the summons, and sometime he was asked that if he was working, and he was working, and then afterwards the U.S. Trump took office and decided to collect all the people, and I told him not to worry, because he was a hard worker person, that the protocol was for you to be deported, and then we were expecting his release for welcoming here in Venezuela, and our surprise was that we heard that there was a movement that was sent to El Salvador, and I don't understand, because he called me at 2 a.m. and then he told me that we were returning to Venezuela, and a testimony, and I am sure that the big majority that were sent to El Salvador, they don't commit a crime in the United States. And one wonders, if they committed the crime in the United States, why don't they be judged there in the United States for their crimes? Why are they expelling them? And they take the risk of all the allegations that are against us, that they be released. But those who came here, there are there were 16 people who have some criminal records, and the rest we took them to their homes warmly, because we don't know. That's the way we act. And Bukele says that he's gonna hold them there and they are going to work. It is a way of slavery, a concentration camp copied, replicated from the Nazi model. And so Venezuela claims for its sons. And so we won't rest till we get them back. And that's our plan of return to the homeland. And so here we have and here when they return, they started from zero, but we treated as human beings there. They stole them, their cars, their house, their properties. You are sons of Venezuelans, come to Venezuela. Here is your family waiting for you. We are here. We don't persecute you ever. That miserable that you promoted that campaign, and that it is a business that you come there to El Salvador, and so you must recall that the popular will it is you must recall that Lester Toledo came out and he said that he was in charge of that strategy, and you were so we know who is after our people, and so we summoned and we urge to the great mobilizations across our nation. Tomorrow there's gonna be a great march in Morelos Square till the corner of San Francisco. From Morelos Square till San Francisco corner. And so we invite you all in family, go there and raise your voices for your sons and demand that your sons and daughters be here, return to Venezuela, and that no one charges your daughters and sons without trial, because Bukele is just looking for eliminating that part of that trial. And there's the route of the march from the Morelos Square to the San Francisco corner. The final where you will be received.
1 o'clock.
A la 1 de la tarde.
At 1 o'clock.
A la 1 de la tarde es la convocatoria.
The call is at 1 o'clock.
Allá en la Asamblea Nacional por la directiva
You
de la
will be
Asamblea
welcomed by the
hermano Jorge.
leadership of the National Assembly with Brother Jorge.
Todos los venezolanos.
It's a matter of all Venezuelans,
Todas las venezolanas.
all Venezuelan women and men.
Si usted tiene algún familiar,
If you have a family, a relative,
usted quiera exponer el testimonio de
and
las persecuciones que ha tenido,
you want to express the persecution they have
que así los estén persiguiendo,
in the United States, where they have been persecuted, or in any other country,
página en Instagram es
we have
ven
Migrantes Ven, a webpage,
testimonio.
where you can state the testimony.
Internet, Comité de Defensa Migrante,
And
.gov,
Comité Defensa Migrante.gov, which is a page on the internet.
absoluta.
In an absolute way, we defend our migrants.
Sumamos a la defensa de los
We join the defense of our migrants,
y acompañamos esta hermosa marcha
and we accompany this beautiful march
para exigirle
to demand that the government of the United States stop the persecutions,
que los venezolanos están siendo
to tell the world that Venezuelans are being stigmatized
prácticas nazis
and persecuted in the world with Nazis and fascist
por políticos venezolanos,
practices promoted by Venezuelan politicians
podemos decir cumplidas por el gobierno imperialista de los Estados Unidos.
and fulfilled by the imperialist government of the United States.
Unidad,
Unity,
máxima unidad,
maximum unity of people,
máxima unidad.
maximum unity.
Contrasta esto, en verdad,
This is have contrast
como nosotros recibimos a los
the way we welcome foreigners in this country, as we have welcomed foreigners historically in this country,
siempre con un abrazo amoroso.
always with a
Aquí,
loving
país, hermanos,
hug.
hermanas que están afuera, vénganse.
Brothers and sisters who are abroad, come here. And from here we demand
Los gobiernos,
that the governments
el gobierno de los
and the government of the United States respect the migrant,
lo establecido
that they must fulfill
la Organización Internacional para los
what has been established in the Organization for Migrants of the United Nations.
de algo justifica.
Please say something, justify your salary at least.
Migrar no es un delito.
Migration is not a crime, sentence is a crime.
Si hay alguna pregunta, les agradezco.
If there is a question, please. Good afternoon, we're starting the questions with Melanie Castillo for Venezuelan Televisión. Good afternoon, 3 questions. What is important to call for national unity against this aggression against Venezuelan migrants, and that the people will accompany the actions by the Venezuelan state, like collecting signatures and mobilization? Number 2, there will be any investigation against organizations that promote the stigmatization of Venezuelan migrants by saying that they're from the Aragua train and that generalize that they are all committed crimes, turning them into business and merchandise. Thank you. We have always called for national unity in matters of the homeland. This is a matter of the homeland. I will mention here some of the opposition sirs who have to see if they have said something. Only to see if they have said something. Has someone listened to María Corina Machado say something? Or Magali Meda? Have everyone heard El Mundo González? Let's remind the world that El Mundo González was the first who proposed that they should be taken to another country. It is there that they must have been taken to a third country. Guanipa stated in favor of a measure against the persecution of Venezuelans. Ledesma has said nothing. Guaidó spoke in favor of the measure against the Venezuelans. Borges has said something? Zero. The 2020 Venezuela has said something? Andrés Velázquez has said something? Zero. Pérez Rivas has said something? Zero. Dinora Figuera has said something? Zero. Simonovich has said something? Zero. They are behind this. They are behind this. Whoever has eyes must see, and who has ears must listen. The international community doesn't have to do with party rights elements. Nothing to do with party elements. They have declared Venezuela as a war objective. That's the war the United States want to take to the whole world. It is not enough with the 70 million of poor people they have in the United States. They want everybody to be poor with wars. Someday they will have to rule for those 70 million people. And we will make a great national effort to protect our migrants so that all our children return. There are families who left, whole families who left the country. What were they going to do with the children? I know a case of a woman who went to a hospital and she was taken. She was arrested. The wife, the husband, and 2 children. And they went to her room and arrested her. As that happened, persecuting workers, the United States doesn't do anything with criminals. We demand national unity. And there was going to be an investigation. Wherever they go, they deserve being punished because they're very bad human beings. They're terrible people. They're perverse people. They don't love this homeland and they don't love Venezuelans. That's a way to do business. And now they have reached the extreme that they want to commercialize them as slaves, not to say near. Because that's what they want to do with those who are they're taken to El Salvador. Our president said so. Brother Jorge Rodriguez said so. Venezuela will do anything it has to do to protect Venezuelan migrants, men and women from this country. The second question is by Elena González Canales. Good afternoon for everyone. What kind of reading we can do about some media outlets who describe these migrants as members of the Aragua train and are echo this campaign? On the other hand, the deportation of these migrants to El Salvador takes place despite a U.S. judge is against it. There's no state of rule in the United States. So we listen to Jorge Rodriguez when he says that the request will be made to the national government so that the national government issue a communique so that no Venezuelan citizen travels to the United States because it's a dangerous country, a lawless country. When people are harassed, persecuted, Venezuela men and women wish they could return peacefully. Venezuela has shown clearly that it hugs and protects the Venezuelans who have left the country with a return to the homeland plan. And this is not going to stop us because there are Venezuelan citizens in many parts of the world, and they are running risk because there are many presidents who support the United States. And they will copy what the United States has done. Regarding media outlets, it's very sad because this campaign started when they issue a certificate to the person in an open investigation with a fake seal and fake signatures. The coyotes were working. Now the coyotes are still working. 6 million a month they will receive for this work. The fascist Nayib Bukele. If any media outlet or any of these influencers who has spoken a lot said something, they will eat him alive. Those who are part of this infamy against our people, they condemn them, they signal them. They're Venezuelans, whatever they are. And we want them healthy and good here in Venezuela. And those who are criminal, they know that there are laws here. There's a state of rule here. And when they sign this decree, it's because there is no law. There's a summary trial. They don't have to consult anyone. If a judge issues an order, that judge must have been threatened in the United States. In the United States. They want to impose the law of the stronger, of the strongest, there in their territory. Thank you. Last question by Genesis Novo, Global Vision. Good afternoon. I would like to know regarding this action that have been taken by the national government, and they have called to national unity by the Venezuelan to express the migration issue. I would like to know if the national government is going to make a communication to justice entities in the United States to send their records and those who are considered members of the Arauca train. Again, when they sent the first migrants, the 2 planes to El Paso in the United States, and then a flight to Mexico, to Honduras, sorry, and then the flight from Mexico, they were in the United States and they returned through Mexico and they came here. They said they were members of the Arauca train. Not a single one of them. Let's remember the statement by Pompeo, who said that in the United States, his politics is to lie. Pompeo was the Secretary of State, and he makes funds, big fun. He lies. Where are the files? We have received no files. And we said that publicly, thinking that with that, the United States could have been more efficient there. that they could review what was going on. No, it was worse, because it's the imperial arrogance. According to their narrative, we have to say here, when they arrived here, that they were all members of the Arauca train. That's the narrative of Corina, and they were going to be welcomed here as criminals, and they were going to face punishment in an interview with Trump's son. Of course, that the regime opened the prisons. They used the Arauca train to destabilize. Diosdado welcomed them as citizens. When we become a government, we will receive the criminals and they will face punishment. We will dismantle the train in a coordinated way. It's the same discourse. The same discourse. They want to live from the Venezuelans, which they send records. But if they committed crimes in the United States, why are they not tried in the United States? Why are they tried in the States if they commit crimes in the United States? If an American citizen commits a crime in Venezuela, we tried him in Venezuela. If a Salvadorian citizen commits a crime in Venezuela, we commit it here in Venezuela. Why don't they try them? Because they don't have a single record of these people, of these young people, of these persons. That was the campaign of generalizing. Generalizing. That was accompanied by heads of state of Latin America. It was accompanied, and they don't realize that we're that not these actions will not stop with Venezuela. The United States knows what our response will go to be. The response we are giving, a response of dignity, a response of commitment to our migrants, wherever they are. Wherever they are. I will say this for the first time. In those flights, there were two people from Colombia. Two people from Colombia. They have nothing to do with Venezuela. Ask them how we treated them here in Venezuela. They were received equally like brothers. They don't have any crimes in Venezuela, so we send them to Colombia. No ill treatment. We didn't accuse them of any crime they didn't commit. The legal system in the United States has never been characterized by being the most transparent. Never. It has never been characterized by being transparent. Take into account how they appoint the magistrates of the Supreme Court. Verify how they are designated, who proposed them. It would have been very good to hold a debate in the U.S. Congress about this issue. The decree eliminated the debate. But it would have been very good to hold a debate there about the migrant issue. How many of those who are there come from migrant parents? How many of them have workers, migrant workers in their factories, companies, who work? They work hard. They work hard. They devote to work. There are some Venezuelans have even 3 jobs. They have 3 jobs to survive. They don't care at all. That's why Venezuela is raising its voice, is calling for national unity in light of this attack on Venezuelans, men and women. I will ask those who don't have any relatives in the United States to join this campaign and express their solidarity with those who have relatives, because in fact we are a big family, the Venezuelan family, a big family. It is maximum solidarity and accompaniment to our migrants, in this case in the United States, but wherever they are. Wherever they are. It is shameful that in 2025 there are governments that practice those ferocious methods of persecution, of fascism, of Nazism. It is shameful. And the organizations like the United States have remained silent. They have remained silent. We will knock on all doors in defense of our migrants. That's why we call a march. We don't call, we join the march from Morelos Square to the San Francisco Square corner at 1 o'clock. If you have a friend, a relative, go. Even if you don't have anyone, go too, because the Venezuelan people who have been attacked, the Venezuelan men and women have been attacked. Sign collection on Wednesday in all Bolivar squares in Venezuela. We are going to collect signatures and we will take it to all levels. These people, whatever happens, will be united. Under any circumstances, they will never lose their dignity. They will never lose their dignity. These people know to fight, know to resist, and know to win. Good afternoon. A hot forever.
We were live to Venezuela listening to Minister of Interior and Peace Diosdado Cabello in his claim for the support of Venezuelan migrants before the mistreatment they are facing abroad amid the massive deportation campaign and the anti-migrant campaign promoted by the U.S. and allied countries such as that of El Salvador. Cabello reiterated that migrants are victims of the economic warfare promoted by the country's extreme right wing. He also called for a massive deportation on Tuesday in support of Venezuelan connationals abroad. And with this last-minute information, we have come to the end of this news brief. But you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net and join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok as well. For TeleSUR English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.